I want to introduce to you Niv Sheinfeld and Oren Laor. Maybe some of you already know them because they were at the festival twice. So we know their work. And they are coming this year with a very specific piece. I found it very interesting because it's not anymore in your creation. Before it was always like duet and very personal topics. And this time it's really a group piece, and the idea behind is very much more general. So where this idea came from to build up such a piece?
Yeah. So first of all, I think even though the new work, first of all, it's a celebration. You know, for us, it's really it's a one big party of dance and music and manifestos from the 20th century, which is actually I think it's not because of COVID, because we wanted to start to have this kind of party performance even before COVID, and then COVID came and made it even more necessary for us to celebrate. I think it's interesting because we were exposed to these manifestos about 2 years ago of the 20th century of the artists from the avant-garde, and we found them just fascinating, brilliant, very funny, and very sharp. And we said, okay, this is like giving a legitimacy, you know, for other artists, you know, to go more, let's say, to go forward with their desires, with their passions, and not succumb to rules, you know, and all these rules that the arts many times have. You should do this like this and this like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the avant-garde artists wanted to rebel. They wanted to be like children playing on the playground, you know. So we, for a long time, we gathered a lot of specific lines from manifestos that we found very inspiring. And then we said, okay, but the show has to be also one big manifesto, and it has to be very free, liberating, inviting the audience in at the end, you know, for the party. And basically, we just wanted to have fun on stage. And then we invited two fabulous dancers. One of them, Roni Hadash, I think also performed in Bratislava last year.
We had her. She didn't perform herself. She presented her duet, but she was not the dancing in it. But we had her here. I mean, she was here, so I think it will be great that people will see her dancing herself. So
I think
yeah,
she's an amazing
amazing.
dancer,
Yeah.
really amazing dancer. So she will be also in the show, and also Tal Adler, which is also brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think for us, I mean, the manifestos are inspiration for artists but it's also for the relation of art with the public, of what is the role of art. And I think it's not about the specific text that is in the manifestos, but it's the energy that is involved with these manifestos, that is about doing, about changing, about being clear and simple, and want to be communicative, and want to take part in the society and the community, and not be like secluded and doing something that is very high art, but something that is very like.
No, that they say high art is not what we think it is, or what it should be, you know. And this is, I mean, like we have a lot of some of the manifestos were written by, some of them were by choreographers like Mark Morris and Isadora Duncan about nudity, and Yvonne Rainer. But some by thinkers and philosophers like Susan Sontag, American Susan Sontag.
And there are many painters, of course, because you know, they were authors of these manifestos at the beginning of 20th century. So there are many painters quotes there. Yeah, and I think you are right. Maybe it's very good to give something like a kick to artists of nowadays also, like do not forget about the real creativity, and to be open, and not to you know, because there are also many cliches around us, of course, we know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
always
I think
good to refresh that, okay, we have to go forward and not stay with something with this
I think
safe
they're
and
giving
we
you,
know.
yeah. I think they're giving us permission, you know, to go forward with your passions. Don't be afraid to deviate from the standard, you know, go on, move forward, explode, you know, be passionate. I think this is really a very I think and it's, you know, most of the texts, and when we read them in the theater, in the show, we read the text first, and then the first thing we say before we say the name of the person who said it, we say the year that it was written. And this is for the public mind-blowing, because they think, oh, this was probably written 2 years ago, and no, it's from 1902.
Yeah.
Said, wow, I mean, like it sounds so like it's contemporary, like it was written today.
Exactly, exactly, and that's what's fascinating for me if in the piece. So, and you said like you did this research of the quotes for years. So this idea was there a long time ago to create such a piece.
Yeah,
it was mostly Oren was reading a lot. It's like I don't know, 100 manifestos and he was sitting and reading. And the COVID, I mean, because we couldn't do anything, so we created it during, and then we had to sit people down because we wanted people to stand up, but then they said, no, you cannot be together. And then, so we found ourselves sitting, but at the end we invite everybody. And I think there is something about, no, I lost my thread, wait.
I think it's it's not, although I read so many manifestos, about 100, and then a lot of them are inspiring, but not all of the quotes you want to take, not all of them are for a show.
Okay.
No, if you want to inspire people in a show, it has to be so specific and short. You cannot give, you know, a very long speech. It has to be really very punctual. So to choose these specific lines was a very long journey, but it paid off. And we are, and also then when we, like Niv said, we wanted the show to be like a party when everybody's standing, and then COVID did not allow us. So now at the end, now when it's already more or less allowed, so we bring the audience, we ask the audience who wants to join us on the stage to dance with us for about 10 minutes. And it's amazing that everybody, because we're hitting them up through the show, most of the public is coming to the stage to dance, and this is fabulous.
It depends where and who is. But I remember what I want to say about we are doing dance, and we are using words, you know. But the words is charging the movement and the performer somehow, and the visibility of the audience looking at the dancer doing something, and there is some charging energy coming from the text, like injected into the movement and to the being. And it's very exciting because there is something about movement that is like usually just it can be just movement, and how do you charge it, and the words somehow give it some
you know,
power.
and because the words are communicated on different levels as the movement is, it's very interesting like how the audiences are engaged. I think they are engaged much more differently as in a dance performance, which is without the text. So it's really different connection because the brain somehow works differently. So their engagement is also, I guess, is different. So yeah.
I want to tell you, I want to quote one lady who is, she's a professor in Academy for Dance in Israel. And she wrote to us an email after she saw the show. She said, at the end, I was too shy to come to the stage to dance. But I felt at the end of the show, like my body was dancing, although I wasn't dancing. And this, I think, is a great achievement because it's a performance that is using a lot of text, also a lot of dance, but a lot of text. And she said her body felt like she was dancing. Yeah. And said, well, this is wonderful. So I think it's an achievement.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't touch yet the music, because it's also, I think the choice of the music was very much in your focus. So tell us something about how you choose the music for the piece.
Okay, this is also very interesting because I think the music is like the fifth dancer in the show, because it has a very strong output. I mean, the post-punk period, the new wave, you know, of the beginning of the 80s, the new wave and post-punk, it's Susie and the Banshees, the New Order, you know, and Yazoo, and all these kind of wonderful musicians. I think they also were, many of them were inspired by manifestos as well. It was a very political, socially political agendas that they had. The texts that they had were very much, and also the form, the music itself was more melodic than punk. It was not just it's more melodic, but it still want to engage you, to inspire you, to take you in, to take control, you know, to spread out. It's very, I mean, I think it's one of the best soundtracks that we had in our shows. And it's not just, we didn't just choose songs that we like, so let's use this song. But we said, okay, this song has the specific energy to move us, to move the audience, to give the right beat and to give the right kind of relativity to the texts that we hear, you know? So it was a very specific choice of songs, and they're fabulous, you know? I mean, like you have the Smiths and you have Susie and the Banshees, and also you have Mozart. So it's like a combination of all these kind of things, and they live together wonderfully in the same apartment.
I just want two things, like there is one at the end of the show we use when you ask the people to come, so it's burning down the house of talking heads, and so people are like, so the music is very rebel and very, so it's like the avant-garde, and on the other edge there is like Susie and the Banshees in the middle, which is the song of the snake from the, you know, the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling,
yeah,
of Mowgli. And so she took the song from the movie, from the Disney movie, and she made a post-punk version,
very dark version.
And so this is really like you can use everything in the world, like, you know, to find yourself in it, and we wanted the music to help us, like the sentences from the manifestos, like our energy, to create this uplifting experience, and to be in a dialogue with the audience, also to contact, to communicate.
Yeah. And one last question about the piece, the costumes, because they are also for me kind of interesting. It seems like kind of working clothes or whatever. So how this came?
Yeah.
Wow, the clothes are really a process, because we wanted in the beginning to start very simple and to become very colorful,
extravaganza.
But then and we did it. We had Oren had like some red dress, and Ronnie had this very big skirt, and I had this red suit with lace. But then we understood that if we keep the very basic, it's like kind of a manifesto of clothes. Like if we speak about the, I think futuristic, no, not the futuristic, it's more the labor, you know, doing the, not the future, but I don't remember.
It's the labor of art.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're doing the labor of art, you know. And by the way, a lot of painters, when they paint, you know, Jackson Pollock, I'm sure, was dressed like this, you know, so
exactly.
So it's also the thing. So putting art like it's a labor thing. It's not. It's just it's work, not just, you know. Okay, I have fantasies, and it's work, and it's hard work, you know. And I think this is also, and it looks like labor works from the socialist time, you know. And I think a lot of manifestos were also influenced by ideas of socialism, you know, and communism, which are basically very social. We also agree with a lot of these ideas, you know. So we thought it's better, but we took the clothes and we do some things with it during the show, you know. So, but I think this is like the basic palette, which is actually we came to work.
Yeah.
To work to work in making a party and a celebration, yeah. But it's work.
Exactly.
There is a play by an Israeli playwright that is called The Labor of Life. It's Hanoch Levin. You know Hanoch Levin? You heard of it? And he's a very interesting playwright, a very big Israeli, and it's like about the labor of life. Life is also kind of work, and you need to.
But it's not in a bad way. I think it served actually. Labor can be taken like as a negative thing, but no, we came to work.
You develop things through the work. You make word better through the work. Yeah? So it's lots of things you can do by working in the right field and to do right things. And it's sometimes it's not easy. So you have to overcome a lot of obstacles and everything around it. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah.
So I think it's a great introduction to the party we will have at the National Theatre Studio. So I'm really looking forward to be with you there, and I hope our audiences as well. Thank you.
Yes, we hope to see everybody in Bratislava, waiting for you with the party.